The order was short, clear, and terrifying. "Open your coat!" For the young German women standing in the cold yard of an Allied prisoner camp, those 3 words felt like a sentence. Some froze. Some tightened their grip on the fabric. One of them later said she felt her knees weaken before she even understood what was being asked. They had survived bombings. They had survived retreat. They had survived capture. But this was the moment they feared most. Stay until the end, because what this order actually meant was something none of them could have imagined. Who these women were. By the final year of the war in Europe, thousands of German women were moving with collapsing military formations. They were clerks, radio assistants, nurses' aides, drivers, and civilian auxiliaries. Some had been assigned, some had volunteered. Others were simply caught in the chaos of retreat. Most were in their early 20s. When Allied forces advanced rapidly through Western Europe, many of these women were captured alongside exhausted soldiers or during mass surrenders. They were not trained for captivity. They had no idea what to expect, and what they feared most was not hunger or cold. It was humiliation. Fear built on rumors. Inside the camps, fear spread faster than information. Stories circulated quietly at night. Stories about interrogations. Stories about punishments. Stories about things that happened when guards called someone out of line. Some of these rumors were exaggerated. Some were outright false. But to the women hearing them, tired, hungry, frightened, the difference didn't matter. So when guards announced a mandatory inspection one morning, anxiety tightened like a knot. They were told to line up, stand straight, wait for instructions. No explanations were given. That silence made everything worse. The order. The women stood shoulder to shoulder in the cold, coats buttoned tight, hands numb, breath visible in the air. An American officer walked slowly along the line with a medic beside him. Then the command came. "Open your coat." It wasn't shouted. It wasn't angry. But to the women, it felt overwhelming. Some hesitated. Some looked at each other in panic. One woman later recalled thinking, "This is it. This is where something bad happens." No one wanted to be the first. What they expected. Their expectations were shaped by years of propaganda and fear. They had been warned about enemy soldiers, warned about what capture might mean. They assumed this order was meant to intimidate them, or to humiliate them, or worse. Several women instinctively tried to close their coats again. A guard stepped forward, not threatening but firm. The order was repeated, this time slowly. What was actually happening? What the women didn't know was that the camp had a problem. Disease, malnutrition, respiratory infections, hidden wounds, signs of frostbite and exhaustion. The medical staff had been ordered to perform a basic health screening. Opening the coats wasn't about control. It was about checking for severe weight loss, untreated injuries, signs of illness, or whether prisoners needed immediate medical attention. The women were not being singled out. They were being examined because they were vulnerable. the moment of realization. As coats opened, something unexpected happened. No one laughed, no one leered, no one touched them unnecessarily. The medic simply looked, made notes, moved on. When he paused, it was to quietly signal a nurse. One woman was handed a blanket, another was pulled aside, not for punishment, but for treatment. Slowly, the tension changed. Fear gave way to confusion. Then confusion gave way to something even stranger. Relief. Aftermath in the barracks. Back inside the barracks, the women spoke in whispers. "Did you see that? They were just checking us. They didn't do anything." For some, this moment shattered years of expectation. They had prepared themselves for cruelty. Instead, they encountered procedure. Professional. Cold, perhaps, but not cruel. One woman later wrote that this inspection was the moment she realized the war she had been taught to expect was not the war she was living through. Why this story matters. This moment mattered because it exposed something rarely discussed. Fear doesn't need violence to exist. It thrives on uncertainty. These women weren't harmed by the order. They were harmed by what they thought it meant. And that misunderstanding tells us a great deal about wartime psychology, about how deeply fear shapes perception. The human side of captivity. The Allied camps were not perfect. There were shortages. There was tension. There were mistakes. But moments like this, small, quiet, easily forgotten, reveal something important. Even in war, systems existed to preserve life. Even enemies were sometimes treated as human beings. And sometimes the most terrifying moments end not in suffering, but in understanding. This is a true World War II story, inspired by documented POW accounts, medical inspection procedures, and survivor testimonies, because sometimes in war the most frightening moments are not acts of cruelty, but moments we don't yet understand. Do you agree? Let us know in the comments and subscribe for more true World War II stories.